Good afternoon. So I'm going to be talking about the possibilities, complexities, and contradictions of music. I myself am a vocal major, so I major in vocals. I sing, and what I found is that complexities vary for each person, and depending on how long they practice. So, um, just to give an example, the solfege, singing a scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. For me, nothing, because I've been singing that forever. If you went back to freshman year me and asked the same question, sing a solfege scale for that, I would have no clue what any of those hand signs were and how do you even sing it. And then even before that, if you asked me what solfege was, I wouldn't even know. And then before that, if you asked me what notes were, I wouldn't even know what that was either. So it's all varying on being taught. How much you're being taught, who's teaching you, where you're being taught, what instrument you're being taught. I know a few other instruments as well. I learned violin growing up. And a little tiny bit of piano. I played a tiny bit of piano and then I stopped taking lessons for it. And then freshman year of college, I picked back up on it again and I learned it fairly quickly. For me, it's easy. Someone else, if you handed them the music that I play in piano now, that'd be super complex. And if someone handed me the music that they were playing, a professional piano player, they handed me their music, I would just get that out of there because I don't know how to play it. So complexity really comes down to how much time you've been taught, how much time you've been practicing, how much time you've been perfect practicing, because practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And perfection is not even real, especially in music. The possibilities endless. Anyone can learn any instrument if they wanted to. It just depends on where you go. Some schools don't even have a strings budget. Some schools wouldn't have even given me the chance to play violin because of their school budget. So I'm very thankful that I had the opportunity to learn violin in a school, but someone else could very well not have had that chance. In fact, many schools, even around the area that I was in, didn't have a string section. I was one of the very few, and I'm still very grateful for that. Now, when it comes to contradictions in music happen daily, all the time. Music theory especially, because some people, music theory, in shortened terms, is a set of rules that we have been giving to music and trying to explain why music sounds the way it does, why it is soothing to us, and that the best way that I can describe that is Bach, Johann Bach, famous for his chorale work and his ability to give sopranos, altos, tenors, basses their own notes, and having each one work intertwining with each other, creating different counterpoints counterpoints basically how two notes interact with each other, and then you multiply that into four voices, sometimes even more, depending on what year you're playing it, what piece you're playing, what piece you're singing. So obviously super complex. Example for me, it's not that complex because I've been doing it forever. I was singing those forever. Freshman year of high school, had no clue what they were. By the time I graduated senior year of high school, I knew what they were a little bit. So that's just another example of complexities. But when it comes to contradictions, there's ways that he moved the notes that people today would say, wow, that's genius, because it correlates right with music theory. But then there are composers nowadays that will look at that and go, I don't like it. And then they'll just scratch the whole thing and they'll write their own thing. And all the people that follow the old classical music routes and all the Bach voicings and all the Baroque voicings and everything else, they're just pulling their hair out and just crying to sleep every night because they can't cope with the idea that someone else didn't obey their theory. Classic example of this in music theory is the idea of perfect fifths. Do, so, so do, so, that interval right there, that's called a perfect fifth. And theoretically speaking, if you're looking at notes on a staff, they should do this. When they go out, they could do that, they could do that, they could do that, but they shouldn't do this. That's called parallel motion. If they have fifths going in the same direction on the staff, going this way, if there's lines going this way, and the notes are here, they should not do this. They should go in, they should have oblique motion, one should stay the same, one should go up. They should have I forgot what the name of that motion, contrary motion, I think it is. And then similar motion is just this one moves up a little bit, this one moves up a lot of bit, but it shouldn't be what they call parallel. Same math terms, parallel lines, same applies to music. And of course, nowadays, people will write music with parallel fifths all the time, and it throws people who obey Bach voicings way off. They don't know what to make of it. So, to summarize this entire spiel of possibilities, complexities, and contradictions, complexities vary on each person, how they got their education, where they got their education, how much education they got, how much they perfect practice, not just practice, and all the music and repertoire that they learned from, where they learned the music from, what part of the world they learned their music from. The possibilities, endless. There's music everywhere. No matter how hard you try to avoid it, music is everywhere. You can hear it, obviously, if you go to grocery stores, on your phone. If you take your earbuds off and you hate all music, birds are singing, they're making music. And then some people even will contemplate and say that any wind or sounds that the nature makes when you walk through it is music. And that's their opinion. Music is everyone's own opinion, and that's what they are. And that's what they make their decisions from. And possibilities, like I said, are endless. You can learn any instrument you want to. You can do anything you want, practically, with music. Because music is not a set of rules. Music is what you make of it and what you think music is. Some people would argue with me and say that music is rules, and that's dependent on them. And obviously that leads to contradictions. Some people think music is one thing, some people think music is another thing, some people think it's both, some people think it's none. It's crazy. It's tough, but that's how music is. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. But yeah, that's what I would argue about possibilities, complexities, and contradictions of music specifically.